great. So I've always been a soccer fan, and around the world, such as in the Caribbean, in England, those places, it's known as football, as many people know. But here in North America, it's known as soccer, and I've always been a soccer or football fan. I grew up in a time when famous players like Zico from Brazil, Socrates, many other players were so famous, really prolific, highly skilled. So the '80s, right? Um, and Brazil has always been my team, and I don't know. I think my dream was to maybe even go to a World Cup and just enjoy just the atmosphere, seeing your favorite players. And now, it's 2026, many decades later. So, and to be honest, I'm not really feeling the soccer spirit or the World Cup spirit. You know, for example, in previous years, like the '90, the '94 World Cup, the '98 World Cup, everybody's like looking forward to those World Cups. There's like a countdown, like, oh man, the World Cup is going to be in 2 years, one more year for the World Cup, and everybody's all excited. But to be honest, the World Cup is coming to North America. Like it's some games are going to be played in Canada, some's going to be played in the USA and Mexico, of course. And to be honest, I'm not feeling that spirit. I'm not feeling the excitement. And I mean, I'm not 100% sure why, but I have a really strong feeling it's because of the stuff that's going on in the world, and like in the U.S. there's so much you know immigration issues and political issues that's people are scared to go to the U.S. basically. I mean, can you imagine going to the U.S. just for a trip to enjoy the World Cup, to enjoy the festivities, just to wave the flag of your country, and just to be approached by you know being given a hard time and be sent back to some country that you don't even know about. I mean, it's a reality. It can happen. On the positive side, you know, sure, good things can happen. You can go, enjoy the games, and nothing happens, right? But realistically, the way things are going now in the world, um, you have to be so vigilant. You have to be so careful, and because of that atmosphere of tension, it's I don't know how many people are not that excited to go, for the World Cup. So, that being said, put in the comments, what are your thoughts on this? First of all, are you a soccer fan, aka football fan? And if you are you excited for the World Cup that's going to be held in North America this year? I think I saw in the news this morning that the World Cup will be starting in, I think, about 4 weeks. And it's really a shame. It's really a shame, right? Because the World Cup is one of the most exciting type of sport, or tournament. And like I said, people around the world, globally, they're really looking forward to watching the games. I mean, I think the FIFA World Cup is a tournament that brings the world together. And folks, we need this. There's too many violence and racism and just too much tension in the world. Like, we need some love. We need something to bring us all together. And the World Cup is one such medium to sort of level the playing field, unwind, take a sip of wine or whatever. But I'm telling you, man, I'm sure I'm not the only one feeling, a little bit kind of not excited about this World Cup. I mean, like I said, growing up as a kid, I always love soccer. I've always loved Brazil. That's my favorite team. Brazil, Argentina. I like Italy too. And those famous teams. They've won so many tournaments. You look forward to the skill of the players, the excitement of the crowd. It just when I think about it, it just brings back such a nostalgic, exciting feeling. So now, you know, when the World Cup is basically at my fingertips, the tournaments are going to be right in my backyard. I should be looking for tickets. I should be like, oh man, I gotta go to the World Cup. I gotta go see Brazil. I gotta see. Well, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if Canada qualifies for the World Cup. To be honest, I think they did a few years ago. I can't remember, but I'm telling you, I would love to see a World Cup game. Um, Let me see if who is here on the line. Oh, you can't speak English? Oh, I'm sorry, you can't speak English, folks. But welcome. Thank you guys for coming in. As you can see, I'm actually driving. I'm on my way to work, guys. And I'm here in Canada, sort of Toronto, the GTA, Greater Toronto area. So welcome, guys. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the World Cup, the 2026 soccer tournament that will be held right here in North America. Well, some games will be. Other games will be held in Mexico, and some games will be held in North America. Um, so the premise of this live stream is: are you excited about the World Cup? So first of all, are you a soccer fan or a football fan? And secondly, are you excited about the World Cup? If yes, why? And if no, why not? Because soccer is an amazing sport. I mean, there's so many, tournaments, apart from the World Cup. But I think it's a sport that, like any sports fan, you want to see your favorite team. And just to recap, I grew up loving soccer. We call it football. Um, many places call it football. And my favorite team has always been Brazil. Watching, many of the legendary players, Diego Maradona, Socrates, many players, and that hasn't changed. I mean, I still have those players in my heart. Like Maradona, rest his soul, was one of my favorite soccer players. Um, and I could only dream of enjoying FIFA World Cup game live. And growing up, I grew up poor. You know, barely had money for food and all that stuff, and so there's no way I could really, afford to go to a World Cup. Now here I am when the World Cup is in my backyard, literally, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not excited. I'm not, like pumped. Like say in the '90s, the 1994 World Cup, and don't call me old, please. Okay. But yeah, in the 1994, even early 2000, yeah, the World Cup is on. I want to rush home, depending on where they have the tournament. I want to rush home, flip on the TV, wait for it to warm up. I'm just flip the switch on and just relax and watch, even if it's like the last 30 minutes or 10 minutes of the game, because sometimes the games are played. When it's day here, it's nighttime where the game is played. So you know, even in that case, I still want to rush home, even see the highlights, the replays. It's a World Cup. Who doesn't like soccer, man? Who doesn't like football? Um, but because of the issues that's going on worldwide, and especially in the U.S., uh, I think what I've noticed online on TikTok and those platforms, many people are saying, "Hey, you're not going to go to the World Cup." Some people are canceling their tickets, their trips, because they're just scared. You're scared of the, like immigration, ICE, and all that. Being hassled. I mean, it may not happen, but hey, do you really want to take the chance? Do you want to be hassled just being there with your family, and then possibly getting shipped back to some country you don't know of, or any, there's just so much tension in the air. I mean, look, if I had a chance, if somebody said, "Hey, here's some tickets, they're free," because I think those tickets are expensive. Probably a few $100, if not a few $1,000, depending on the seating arrangements. Um, if somebody gave me some free tickets, would I go? Probably I will. I probably will. But I know it's a bit risky, right? Because of the issues that I mentioned before, right? I mean, Buffalo is only about an hour drive from where I live, Buffalo, New York, right? So I've been there. I've been to the U.S. many times. Driving over, doing some shopping, and it's always been fun. The U.S. is a great country. They're our cousins, our neighbors, and but with all the stuff going on there, you just kind of put a damper on certain festivities like the World Cup, right? So put in the comments, guys. Are you guys soccer fans? Are you excited for this 2026 World Cup? And if you are, why? Well, put it this way: if you're not excited about the World Cup this year, put in the comments why not. And also put who's your favorite team. Put in the comments, guys. So thanks, guys, for joining. I'm just on my way to work. I'm giving you a driver's view, not a bird's eye view, a driver's view. I actually, my job is about a 2-hour drive away. So, it's kind of weird. I mean, I live in Canada, and I can actually reach to Buffalo, New York, probably before I went to work. So that's how far I work. Yeah, sometimes it takes me more than 2 hours to get to work, which is kind of crazy. But you know what? We're not really talking about that right now. We're talking about the FIFA World Cup, baby. Welcome, guys. Where are you guys joining from? Do you have anyone from Mexico here? Any one of our Mexican friends here? Canadians are in the house, most likely. My USO fan. USO. Oh my God, what am I talking about? I need me some. Maybe I need to drink some more coffee, guys. I'm saying USO. USA. Where are my US fans, guys? Where is my fans of the plane? Should I? What do you guys think, guys? Glasses on? Denzel? Or glasses off? Put in the comments, guys. And be kind, be nice, be sweet. I've been to some crazy times, man. So I need only nice people in my life. It's actually not too bad here right now. The weather, it's 8 degrees, and I promise I'm not gonna take my snow tires off until maybe mid-May. Acura called me a few times trying to get me to change my snow tires, and I didn't really. I just kind of ignore them because there could be a freak snowstorm like this in Canada. So if you're Canadian, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, back to my World Cup, guys. Who is my World Cup fan? Do you guys care about the World Cup? Or do you just go like, whatever? Put in the comments, guys. I see 2 people commented. Thank you for joining, guys. Yeah, I think overall sports don't really excite me too much anymore. Right now, I think the Raptors are in the playoff. I mean, this morning, me and my wife is watching TV, and we heard, oh, tonight's game 5. You know, Jurassic Park's going to be, and Jurassic Park is basically an area in the city that, you know, Raptors fan. The Raptors is a basketball team of Toronto or Canada, and you know, so Jurassic Park is where all the fans gather and cheer the team on. There's like a huge TV screen and all that blah blah blah. And so yeah, so anyways, on the news it's saying, oh, Jurassic Park is gonna be packed tonight because of Game 5. I'm like, what? Is it the playoffs? So yeah, I used to be such a big sports fan. You know, obviously soccer that I mentioned before, um, and also the Raptors fan. You know, I've been a Raptors. Well, to be quite honest, yes, I was a Raptors fan, but you know, on and off when they lose, I just kind of whatever. You know, kind of just like a Maple Leaf fan. I mean, I live in in Canada, so I support Canadian teams, right? Um, but sports don't excite me no more because I used to stay up till like 4 in the morning, right? I have to get up at 5 in the morning, and I stay up watching the Maple Leafs game till like 4 in the morning. They play in like LA, and you know, LA is I don't know 4 hours away, whatever, man. But anyways, you know, if there's a late game on, I stay up watching the Leafs, and then they lose, and I go to bed all pissed off. And but that's the way I used to be a hardcore Leafs fan. And then I'm like, I'm never gonna watch them again. And every year I said I'm never gonna watch the Maple Leafs again. And I finally kind of, you know, lived up to my word. I mean, I still watch them now and then. Oh, should I go on the 4-7? I'm trying to get to work a little bit earlier, guys. Yeah, so I always say I'm not gonna watch the Leafs again. You know, the Raptors also. I'm like, whatever, whatever. But now, to be honest, I got bigger fish to fry, guys. So, you know, if they made the playoffs, I'm going to support them. You know, but guys, I can't take the stress. I can't take the tension. And you know, and to be honest maybe that's why I like soccer so much because, you know, being a Brazilian fan, you know, Brazil has never disappointed me. I mean, yeah, for the past few years, you know, with that France, it started with that France tournament. You know, when they got whooped by France, but you know, hey, you can't win them all, right? That's when I kind of got, you know, kind of disappointed, whatever. But I'm still a Brazilian fan. I love Brazil. I love Argentina. I grew up with those, you know, those teams, loving those teams, right? And they'll always be my team. And I think they're a favorite because, you know, Brazil is all about football. They're all about, you know, people. Guys, forgive me if I say football or soccer or, you know, if whatever. Just forgive me because I grew up knowing it as football, right? American football is obviously, you know, the Packers, the Buffalo Bills, whatever, right? In the Caribbean, football is soccer. Soccer, like, you know, but soccer. So I use them interchangeably. Okay, so don't cuss me out. So, guys, if you're just joining, let me see if who's on the ear, guys. Yeah. Thank you for joining. Please hit the subscribe button, guys. We're trying to grow our channel. I do lives once in a while, you know, like from driving to work. I do some live streaming, trying to get my watch time up, and also some subscribers. But I have a lot of subscribers. Yeah. So, guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the 2000 and how long I've been driving for? Oh, 90 minutes. Yeah. We're talking about the 2025. What am I talking about? 2025, 2026. Guys, help me out here. I'm talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Personally, I'm not excited about the tournament. You know, before I was, you know, when I heard that, I guess I flip a coin and say, okay, where is the World Cup going to be held this time? And then they figured it's going to be, you know, in North America. And I was like, what? I have to go to a game. You know, I live in Canada. I have to see one of the games. You know, I'm just, you know, a few miles from the U.S. I could drive across to a game. So I'm so excited, right? But because of all of the crap going on in the U.S., I'm not feeling it. I'm so terrified to go there. Oh, where did I put my? Oh, I thought I lost my glasses. Yeah, I feel a little bit nervous. Going to the U.S. I mean, I have family living in the U.S. and stuff like that. I don't even want to visit. I'm like, guys, yeah, it's just a shame because I'm a '90s kid. I grew up, loving soccer, wanted to see a soccer game. Like, I could only dream of seeing a live soccer game. I'm going on the I 47, guys. Uh, I'm hitting the 47. This highway is very expensive. OMG. Okay, 47 total. Hope I'm going the right way. Where am I going? West, east, or west, guys? Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I'm going the right way, folks. There you have it, guys. I think I'm going to go west. I'm going to flip a coin and go west, guys. What do you think? I'm flipping a coin, folks. I'm going to hit the Wheezy. Yeah, so I've always wanted to see a soccer game, and now it's a perfect opportunity to go and see a soccer game in the U.S. I mean, I don't really care what team it is. I just want to, just feel the excitement, the roar of the crowd, the $100 hot dogs. No, but on a serious note, I really would like to see a game, but I'm not, you know, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. There's just too much, tension in the air, in the U.S. Great country, love you all, but I'm terrified, guys. You know, so put in the comments, guys. Are you a soccer fan? Who's your team? And are you excited to see the 2026 FIFA World Cup? All right, guys. So I'm going to end this live right now. I'm on the highway, as you can see, heading to work. My 2-hour drive away. So please, guys, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for joining, and I appreciate you guys so much. Stay in good health, guys, and please spread love, guys. There's too much tension in the world, and I hope you enjoy one of those beautiful FIFA World Cup soccer game, folks. All right, blessings, guys. Take care. All right, I'm gonna be doing more lives. I'm gonna try to do it. If not daily, maybe every couple of days I'll do a live. So if you wanna, and if you like my lives, then hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when I'm here yapping. Oh, look at that, guys. And you'll be able to see beautiful views like this. Oh my gosh. Thank you, guys, man. Bless. You guys are amazing. I love fans, man. Thank you so much. Blessings. Bye bye, guys.